What's cracklin', everybody? Welcome back once again to the definitive cereal tier list, where each episode we take a cereal, put it on the tier list, so you know how good it is. I'm your host, Tucker. In this episode, we're doing Waffle Crisp. Despite being in a bag and coming from Post, this isn't a multi-meal cereal. This is just a straight-up Post cereal, so I don't really want to compare it to any of those. But what I do want to compare it to is the D-ranked Eggo Home-style cereal and the C-ranked French Toast Crunch cereal. I think, obviously, it's going to be a little closer to the Eggo Home style because I think those were both going for waffle-like pieces versus the French Toast Crunch being French Toast Crunch sort of piece and pretty different shape, like I imagine texture-wise as well. But all three of these maple flavored, so it seems like a good sort of guess of where to put this. It'd be cool if this manages to surpass both of those, but we'll see if that really happens. Well, let's just open it up. Big old bag. Oh, this does have some fun waffle puns on there. Waffles are pancakes with abs. It's not a pun, I guess. Just a joke about a waffle. I like hashtags because they look like waffles. They sure do. Okay. Alright. This is one of those ones I didn't even have to wait to open it to smell it because every time I moved this bag previously, just the scent of maple would come out. So now that it's open, it's like really getting that scent of maple. So that's fun. Obviously, they know what to go for. Let's see if they can nail it though. Okay. That's about right. A little darker than I was picturing. Just off that bag. Like those are much the lighter brown. And this is looking a bit darker. Just want to make sure you can see the Waffle Boy clearly. I think he has a name. I don't know if it's actually Waffle Boy, but I think there is a name for him. But yeah, so kind of just vaguely waffle shaped. Some not really looking like a waffle at all. Some looking pretty close. So they sure tried. But that's not as important as the taste. Okay. It's pretty solid. I think the initial taste doesn't scream maple as hard as the smell sort of expected me to. Like it's definitely there, and I think by the time you get to the end of the bite, it's very clearly maple. But I'm kind of into it. I remember the Eggo Home style one not really nailing it, so I think just off that first bite, I would place this higher than that. Some of these pieces are like very thick, so I was a little worried would it take the crunch too far, but so far it's looking like pretty normal amount of crunch, not too crunchy, not just lacking in crunch, so pretty medium level despite how thick it is. So we're doing pretty well with this so far. All right, let's see how mapley or waffly the milk is. Pretty good. I think this milk is helping me to realize the sort of taste difference I mentioned, where initially not fully maple. I think there's sort of like a butteriness that happens along with the maple. And I guess having just the milk, that's becoming more apparent to me, but I'm pretty sure that's what was going on in most of the bites, especially that first one where I just was not expecting that sort of preamble to the maple flavor. It's pretty good. Still like the cereal. I'm enjoying the flavor here. Overall, I think this nailed waffle and mostly nailed crisp as well. Like I mentioned early on, I think this overall worked much better than the Eggo cereal did. Just something about the taste and a bit of the piece as well clicked a little more here. And I feel like it just better represented sort of a waffle, I guess, in cereal form. Or especially once I put together that it's like a buttery and maple flavor. Like that realization really helped me appreciate it more. I was already enjoying it quite a bit, but that helped as well. And like I said, it mostly nails the crisp part. It does sogify a bit as you get near the end, but weirdly it did kind of remind me of like when you have a waffle that's a little too coated in syrup and it gets kind of soggy in its own way. Like it was very vaguely reminiscent of that, but that idea kind of popped in my head, so that made it a bit more fun and weirdly accurate as well. So what I'm going to do is give Waffle Crisp a B. I was going back and forth on whether or not I thought this was better than French Toast Crunch, and I think it's somewhat close, but I think it comes down to this represents waffle better than that represented French toast, so it gets a little bit more points for that. And I think also the sort of progression from butter to maple like really helps it stand out a bit from the other two that were a bit more just maple, so that also worked pretty well for me. As I said that, I totally just remembered we did like a pecan and maple like honey bunches of oats a long time ago, so I think this probably worked better than that too. There's no pecan, but just I forgot we did another maple one, and I feel like I have to mention that since I have had it before. I guess the maple didn't leave much of an impact compared to this, so I don't feel bad that this is above those. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and in the comments below, post your general thoughts. Let me know if you've had Waffle Crisp and what you thought about it. I think it's a pretty fun time, but if you disagree and you just didn't think this nailed waffle at all, or you thought it did nail waffle and you just don't like waffles, feel free to let me know. And if you do know the real name of this waffle boy, if it's not just Waffle Boy, I guess you could let me know about that too. Or if you're someone who happens to know why this is in a bag and not in a box like most other Post cereals, I would be interested to hear about that as well. But until next time, stay delicious.